Okay, y'all, I'm back from a bit of a hiatus. Today I want to talk about something I've actually had in the hopper for a little bit, and it's called a digital sound processing Karaoke Reverb 100 effects unit. It's essentially just a reverb unit that does 100 different sound effects pre-programmed. So it's different than the ones where you'll have the two knobs and you can change the two different features. This one has them pre-programmed, and it has all these different kinds of things. And I'm going to try and hash through it with it. So in a nutshell, I don't know if these are available on Amazon because whatever reason I ended up buying them on eBay, and that worked out well for me. They were roughly 18 bucks a pop. They're 5 volts each. They do 100 sound effects. They're about 41 by 47 millimeters, I think it said, is the board. That really doesn't take into account this, I don't think. But anyway, I'll just give you a look at the board. It's DSP99 1808. So you can kind of see what this is. I've got two pieces here and some cables, right? Well, the cables just connect these two and the other stuff. So this is your user interface. This is going to be where you change the specific feature. So it's got 100 features. So it has 0 through 99. So it starts out at 0 and goes on up. I'll show you that on the module, but I'll I've got one put together. Anyway, so just a quick review of these. That's what this does. That just changes it. It doesn't change volume or anything like that. It just changes which item you have selected, and that's it. So on here, these are your ribbon cables to connect to this knob to change which feature you're using. And then if you just look on the back, so you've got two other input cables that come with this. This is your power input, and this is your audio input and output. So here's your in. So I use the in and the ground together, and then for the other three, I use the left out and right out together with this ground. That's how I did it. It worked for me. And now let's give this bad boy a test. All that aside, now I haven't decided how I would actually use it in something. So this is basically my prototype hodgepodge shoved together just to get it to work and test it out. So everything's connected. I used a mic with a preamp. And then with it, I have its own battery pack. And I also have my own battery pack for the reverb unit as well. And so this battery pack's for the mic. There's a battery pack in here for the reverb unit, and it goes through a 5-volt up converter or a booster, a voltage booster, and then separately I have an amp. With this, it can output and go into this device and work without, or go into something and work without an additional preamp. Although to get even more out of this, I do think it sounds better to take, even though it's got a preamp here, to run it into the preamp on this device and then do it this way. This is one of the few devices that actually have a separate auxiliary in with its own volume knob for that. So anyway,
audio in mode.
Here we go. This is just gonna give it a test out. Before I get too deep into it, just get it all on. This is something important. So what this doesn't have with it is like proper directions. It'll tell you generally what it does, but 100 different things, and you're supposed to figure them all out. Well, so I found one vendor through AliExpress that actually had a very simple hand-drawn thing, and it broke it down by these categories: small hall, medium hall, large hall, church, small room, blah, 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 right on down. So that still wasn't enough for me. I don't know, when it gets into spring reverb, reverb door, reverse reverb, I don't know what that is. I don't think most anybody does, unless you work in the audio industry. But so what I did was I ran these through ChatGPT, got reasonable feedback on these, got it down to concise, where it was like 1 or 2 sentences. I think I got them all down to 1 sentence, and it gave me a good enough rundown of the meaning of each of these. So I made a spreadsheet and did all these front and back for 0 through 99. And then I also added my area here on my assessment of each, what it was worthwhile for, what it sounded like to me, blah, blah, blah. So I'll try and post this spreadsheet that I made online as well, or maybe take a screenshot of it or something like that right now, and I'll just flip it in case for some reason I can't post it. I don't remember how YouTube works, but anyway. So my notes are just, you know, subjective descriptions. And this thing up here was just a generic diagram of how to put it together, or how to do a signal run on it. So which devices and how it would break out. And they'll have different parts in theirs, but anyway, I did my way. You can follow that, whatever. Anyway, so enough of that. Let's just, I'll just kind of hash through some of these. I'm not going to go through all 100 unless anyone's so inclined and they really would like it. Then maybe I'll do it. But I'll just kind of give you some samples. So it's got small hall, medium hall, large hall. Frankly, they all sound like they're way too large. Small hall really seems the only viable one. I'll just start off. I've already got that one programmed in. They're already available right here. And now I'm just I'll pick this up and you can kind of hear. Let me just make sure my mic is still attached. Tends to slip off. Test. Okay, this is a small hall. Frankly, it's a bit too reverby for me. Kind of sounds like concrete walls. I'll just go through a couple more. This is a medium hall. So there's that. Large hall. That's a bit too much reverb, if you ask me. Let's go to a church, which has the most reverb. It just sounds like infinite crashing of sound waves. Now here, with the mic farther away, it almost sounds more realistic. Now it sounds like I might be in a church, but when you get this thing up close to your mouth, it becomes way too much, I think. So after that, it's got the more viable stuff, like a small room. Here, I'll actually kind of bring this in. Stretch out my audio cable so I don't have to keep leaning over here. In a second. Okay. All right, so this is a small room. It sounds viable. It almost sounds like it's a small room that's maybe made of metal or hard plastic walls with nothing on them, but whatever. This is another small room, medium room. It almost sounds like you're walking into a cave. Okay, this is a larger room. This almost has an audio, like a hall feel. And then, ironically, the next one is, I'll jump to 19, which is audio hall. Okay, this is audio hall. A large, versatile acoustic space, blah, 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 for concerts. Again, it sounds more realistic if I take the mic further away from my mouth to where it gets, oops, my battery fell off. But it gets lighter reverb because it's just a bit too intense on some of these. Okay, so now the next set here is metal acoustic reverb. I don't know if you can really understand me when I do it that way, so maybe I'll just chill out until I'm just going to pick a sample in the middle. Yeah, I'll take this one. To me, it sounded like I'm in an underground seal pipe. There's variations. some of these I mark for which might seem decent for cosplay stuff or something. Spring reverb. It's supposed to sound like it's sound passing through metal springs, I guess. Reverb door. This one's interesting in that it cuts the reverb off like right after the vocals. So it's a unique sound. I feel like I've heard it before, but I'm not sure where from. Anyway, there's that. There's different levels of it. I'll just do one other one. Yeah, this one almost sounds like an emergency notification system or something like that. But again, in very echoey hallways. This reverse reverb is, I guess it just flips it, so it almost feels like a what is it? Basically reversing your speech, except your speech goes out normal. It's just the reverb that comes back reversed. So it sounds a little weird, a little interesting. Okay. Here's what that sounds like. So it's just a little kooky sounding. I don't know, it kind of gets me thinking of the old, what program was that? Twin Peaks. When they'd go into that other world and the people would speak backwards, or it'd sound like they're speaking backwards. Anyway, what are we on? We're on 36. So I will jump up to 40. This one's called Early Reflection. To me, it sounds like I'm talking through plexiglass. And then if you go up a little more, it sounds a pinch different. I don't know. It really depends. You really kind of have to keep talking and not have my regular voice intermixed with what the speaker's putting out, so it doesn't make it as easy. Anyway, I'll jump up to the next section, which is atmospheric effect. I don't know if I'm falling off the page here. All right, so now I'm here. I'll jump up in there. Yeah, to me it sounded like the inside of a submarine. Okay, test. All right, I'm now inside a submarine. Anyway. Yeah, and it just seems to increase with reverb on the next couple. It does kind of, I think, I kind of noted that what makes it sound different than a typical reverb or echo is that it almost sounds like the walls are rounded or something. And something sounds smoother or different, like there's different reflections coming back. Anyway, then there's what's called a stadium. I don't particularly know. I don't think it sounds so much like a stadium, but I'll give you a shot. Okay, this is supposed to be a stadium. It really sounds a bit too noisy or something. I'm not sure. It sounds a little too noisy to me. Ambient, effect, FX. I'll do this one. I don't recall what this was. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it sounds like I put a PA and reverb in an echoey room that has stuff in it, but smooth walls, so it's basically bouncing a lot. A delay. Okay, to me, this is a decent small room delay. I think this is viable, and it almost reminds me of like kind of trooper stuff, where you're not hearing the voice immediately with the speaker output. It's like a slight delay. So here's the next one. This is what I put down as a trooper sound with I'm going to turn this up. I guess it's maxed out. But yeah, it's a cleaner sound. There's no shh or whatever, that kind of noisy reverb on some of these. And then here's with more delay. I'm a trooper, and I've got more delay now. Anyway, and then there's more delay. But anyway, these delays are viable for different things, I think. I'll just do, because these are more viable. Let me see. What was this one? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, some of these remind me of like movies or something, but I'm not sure how you would use it in your context, or be it cosplay or whatever. Anyway. So this one has For reverb being very much associated with echo, it's interesting that they only gave one echo option, and it's ridiculously overloaded with echo. Echo. Yeah. So you would think they'd be able to, it would give you short returns where you could adjust the amount of time that they went on, as well as long returns or mid-range returns. But whatever, I guess that's what all the other things are supposed to be, but I don't know, that's kind of odd. Anyway, the next one is called Chorus, which is, it said, an audio effect that duplicates an original sound, modulates its pitch and timing slightly, and blends it with the original sound to create a rich shimmering sound with depth. Yeah, okay. I don't know, it sounds all right. I think some of these actually work pretty well, and they could be good for a helmet of some kind. I think these might be viable for Mando or something like that. Okay, test again. In some of these, it seems like it cuts out some treble. Either way, I'll just do a couple more, because I like this range, this chorus. I don't really understand what it's trying to say it does, but it sounds all right. And then this is the last one available, and it almost sounds like it's a frequency going in and out. I don't know, maybe transmissions between locations that aren't picking up a good signal between each other, where it's kind of fading in and out and a little wonky. And that's where it gets into kind of these weird ones that are like flange, phase shift, and chrome. These start to get a little weird, and it's like it constantly adjusts the pitch or whatever of your voice in a wave, so it'll go up and down and up and down. And typically you can hear some kind of wee 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 in the background, so it's kind of annoying. It could have benefits. Anyway, I'll share it with you. I'm going through them. Might as well. You should be able to hear that. And I'm going to blow into the mic, and you're going to be able to tell what it's doing. So it's just like, so then add a voice on top of that, and you get something that sounds a little bit like this, maybe a bit robotic. So that's flange. Now I've got a phase shift. So phase shift, it says, modifies the phase relationship of different frequency components within a sound, creating a shifting phasing effect, whatever that means. Anyway, so this is it. It seems to me almost like it's a regular voice, but it's just getting a little squished or something. Like you're getting bad transmissions, but still getting the throughput. So yeah, it's just kind of a light distortion. Tone, I don't know. Between, I guess I think of tone as being typically like treble versus bass or something like that, because on the old radios, like, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, whatever, but my parents' old 1970s, whatever it was called, receiver, I think it had a tone thing on it. And that was basically, it might have had bass and treble separate, but anyway. Here it sounds like it calls it tone, but it sure sounds like pitch to me. Anyway, right, let's try that. Test, test, test. All right, this sounds pretty normal. Okay, and this is totally viable, I think, for costuming, where it gives you kind of a almost trooper feel or something. Yeah, let's see. I'll jump to the next one. Oh, these start to make my pitch higher. Okay, now I'm talking almost, let me pencil this in. I'm a dwarf or elf, I don't know. And then it goes even higher. Okay, so this is decent if you want to get to these higher and higher. If you want those higher and higher pitches, that's what this is doing. I don't understand how that's tone related. Maybe I just don't have a good understanding of tone. Anyway, this is the highest one. So yeah, yeah. And then it jumps to the low end. Okay, so now I'm here. So if you've got a mid-range voice, this might be a possible Darth Vader or something. Whoever that new guy is from Star Wars, Han Solo's son, I don't remember. Yeah. him. Or then the next one, if you've got a higher pitched voice, this one might be valuable for you. So 79. I do get some signal squealing with this, and I imagine that it's partly due to the fact that I've got signal wires, which are the audio wires running next to the power wires, which is not good, and you don't want to do that in your final product because you might get annoying hum junk like that. But right now I'm not concerned, although it doesn't help right now. Anyway, so this is the super low end. So if I try and talk on a higher frequency, maybe a chance okay, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. So that might help people if you want to change your pitch. I don't know. I think it should call that pitch, but whatever. So reverb plus chorus. So I don't know. This just sounds very. This just sounds like I'm in a room. I don't know why I didn't pencil this in. An echoey room, but not a huge room. So that's good. This is actually intelligible. Some of the ones on the front page, they were way too echoey, or way too reverby. That just, like, to me, it seemed like a lot of noise. Whatever. So next, 80. Let's jump down to the next set of. I'm now on reverb and chrome. So I'll just do the first one there. Okay, test here. Now, chrome is an interesting beast. I'm going to blow into the mic again. So you can see it's kind of stretching my voice, and it's kind of doing it here. I don't know, this might be something viable for aliens or poor space communications. I don't know. But now you know. So phase shift. Now we're going to get something, I think, similar again. I don't really understand how phase shift works differently. That was me blowing again. Again, it's just like a whoosh, whoosh. It's doing that with my voice. I guess it sounds a little more understandable, maybe, than the chrome. I don't know. Maybe it's more understandable than the chrome. Maybe it isn't. You decide. Anyway, I'm just trying to give you some insights here as to what this thing does. Reverb plus tone. This is totally doable. Again, this is, let's see, that one's all right. I'm just trying to put some checks by things that might seem realistically viable for something that I might do or might need or use or whatever. Yeah. So if it were to follow the concept of tone as it did before, then it would be like high and low pitch. Let me see if it actually did that. Test. Oh yes. It went from normal tone to high pitch tone, which I don't like that. If you're doing something that needs a higher pitch, then more power to you. Okay. Delay plus reverb. Okay, this is like our delay that we had up here, which actually sounds pretty decent for like a trooper or something, but this might be a bit too much reverb if you ask me. Anyway, yeah, it just sounds like an echo in a big room or a cave. Test 1, 2. That sounds like too much. Anyway, delay plus reverb gate. Combination of delay, reverb, and gating effect, whatever that is, where the reverb is cut off abruptly after a certain threshold, producing a controlled rhythmic decay of sound. I don't know. It sounds okay. It sounds okay. I don't know how it would be applied, but anyway, so the next one is reverse reverb plus delay. Delay plus reverse reverb. Test 1, 2, 3. Bit too noisy if you ask me. Okay, delay plus chorus. Oh yeah, this was I was thinking of Poltergeist when I heard this. It sounds like the girl stuck inside the TV. And then the next one is just kind of the same thing, but just really echoey. And then, so we're almost done. Delay plus flange. Again, there's another one of the weird ones. So we've got our wavy sound, which you can hear by default, which I don't like that you can. But anyway, it sounds slightly computery and almost like there's flares in the background, but that's that. So now we'll jump. This is delay plus phase shift. This actually sounds somewhat okay. It's more tolerable, I think, than the first time I went through it. It was a little, some of these were a little overwhelming, but my mic was in a different placement. I was too close to the speaker, and I heard myself and the speaker, and it was hard to tell the difference. Okay, last set. Delay plus transposition. Combination delay and transposition effect, where the delayed repetitions are pitch shifted or transposed to create harmonies, melodies, or dissonant effects. Sounds interesting, but I don't know what that means. To me, it sounds like echoey, wavy voices. Test 1, 2, 3. This is delay transposition. I don't know. Maybe it's a PA system in a airplane hangar or something. I don't know. So that's it. That's a rundown. Sorry that I know this thing slid off the screen a little bit, but I figured I'd just give you the breakdown of it and you know, kind of what it sounded like to see if it's worth the investment. Again, it was a whopping $18. That's around roughly the running price. You can get them on AliExpress, probably for cheaper if you're willing to wait. Actually, one of the vendors on AliExpress is the one that actually had at least these category breakdowns. So at least it's like they took some time to do a pinch more work than these other copy paste people who all have the same write-ups and no additional information. But putting it together seems easy enough. I guess that, you know, that's kind of enough. And you've got this. If I can get this into the description, I'll try and put it in there. I don't know if I can, but whatever. Otherwise, screenshot it. I hope this really helped out. Give a thumbs up if it helped at all, whether you're going to buy it or not, or whatever. I'd be interested to know what people might use these for, especially some of the ones where I was like, I don't know what this will do, what benefit it is. Because, yeah, I'm trying to keep an open mind for what I might use things for, even if I think that they might not be viable right now. But, yeah, I hope it helped out. Hit a thumbs up, hit subscribe. Take care. I'm out.